Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Welcome back to Half Dozen Takes. Today is episode 2. We have a new member today. Well, we should say he's already been a part of the squad, but he's finally here today. Brabs, Brabs, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit and chat about how you're doing?
Yeah, so Frabs, real name's Anthony. Favorite teams, I guess, being that it's a sports podcast, got to start with that. So big Jets, Rangers, Knicks, Yankees. And the reason for that being that I'm from New York originally. So excited to be on, talk some ball with the boys.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the premise of the podcast, Half Dozen Takes, we have 6 usual members. Every now and then we'll throw in someone else as a special guest, some of our other friends and whatnot. But it's just kind of us shooting the shit, talking sports, talking relative stuff that happens in the week, trying to record every Tuesday. Um, today it's August 5th. So relative to that, that's kind of the news that we're going to be talking about. We've got the college football coaches poll that came out today, a little bit of baseball trade deadline and some other good stuff. So let's jump right into it, guys. You want to talk a little college football coaches poll that just came out what, yesterday you were saying, Bailey?
Yeah, it came out yesterday. I would say a lot of things that you would pretty much expect. First off, it's good to see, football rankings. We're finally
Hmm.
into August, only a month about out. Obviously, we're all from KU, so only 18 days out from game day, number one, week zero game. Love
Hmm.
that. But yeah, like I said, I'm from Illinois originally, so I do have a little view of I blood in me. So I would say that they were probably the biggest shock to some of you who wasn't really following them, but they are number 12 in the poll. So they're already kind of like close to that playoff line, which is pretty unexpected. Uh, yeah, they are returning a lot of people, all my other quarterbacks, so could be decent. I'm always going to be KU, especially on the football side of things, but no, I still want to see them do well. And then the other thing I can speak a little bit on is said last episode down in Tennessee. So big SEC country in big Tennessee.
It's on your
As I'm
shirt.
repping some Vols. They were listed at number 18, which I'm not gonna lie, I thought was a little bit high for them. I think that they're banking the fact that Heupel's been an offensive mastermind the last couple of years, and that he'll be able to get the job done again. But with obviously Nico transferring out and heading to UCLA, they brought back an Aguilar who was at UCLA, and there's some question marks, I would say, around him. He was a transfer into UCLA as well. I can't remember exactly. It was a smaller school though. They said he's a little bit of a gunslinger, but has a lot of issues. I would say we all can agree that the SEC's got some good defenses. So if you're throwing the ball and turn the ball over a lot, that probably won't play at that level. So we'll see how it shakes out. They got a little bit of an easier schedule, so yeah, I'm just like I said, looking forward to seeing some football in the field.
You think Tennessee's ranked accurately? Because I think you were talking about Illinois. I think Illinois is a little bit high.
Yeah, I had a feeling that you would say that, but we also know that you don't like the dirty orange, so that's all right.
It's not
But
my thing,
I would say Tennessee is probably a little bit high. I probably would have them like 22 or 23, like
especially with the
towards
new
the end of it.
QB.
Yeah, Illinois, I think that they're probably actually closer to on par than you realize. Even if you had looked at some of the other like preseason rankings that weren't official, they were anywhere listed from like 11 to 15. So I don't think 12 is actually that crazy. But at the same time, it is college football. Like you kind of have to go out there and actually put those results on the field, and if not, like
Yeah.
it'll show up. So, yeah, just kind of trying to count down some of those days until we get those games.
That's how I kind of feel, man. Like, I'm definitely excited for some ball. It should be really fun, especially for KU. Like, we all went to Kansas in this podcast, and I think it's going to be a fun year. Obviously, we have Jaden Daniels back and stuff like that. So he's a little bit electric, and I wasn't expecting them to be ranked whatsoever, especially with the kind of year that they had last year. But I think they could definitely make a little bit of noise too, relative to losing as many people as they did. A little bit of bias there for sure, but you know, I'm curious to see what the playoff kind of shakes out to be this year, especially with the way that like Boise did their thing last year, who that team's going to be that kind of like fills that role. They are ranked this year, Boise, starting at 25, which I can't think of anybody that is returning that was super notable besides like I can't I can't even think of one. I think they lost like half the recruits to Oregon, who I think is going to be awesome this year. I'm big on Oregon this year. They got that really good receiver, Dante, what's his name? The quarterback.
Dante
Dante
Moore.
Moore.
Dante Moore. Yeah, I think he should be pretty good too. We were just talking about UCLA. That's where he came from. It took a year to kind of get under Dan Lanning, get to know his system a little bit more. Um, yeah, it's exciting. It should be good. I like the poll. I think it makes a lot of sense. Obviously it's the week one poll, but yeah, what a Corn and Fravs, what do you guys think about that kind of stuff? What with the poll? What do you guys think?
Um,
It's pretty
kind of
surprised.
touching. Ooh,
Oh, my bad. Go for it, Corn.
sorry, I was just gonna touching on a little KU talk. I was happy to see five Big 12 teams in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Arizona State was at 11. Them being the highest makes sense because they won the Big
Yeah,
12 last year.
they're returning
You
like
know,
everybody too.
yeah, except for Scat.
Mm-hmm.
But their QB Levitt, he should be really good this year. Been seeing him in a lot of Heisman talks. Um, I think with five Big 12 teams in the poll, KU definitely has our work cut out for us.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing I noted looking at it was Texas being at number one. I think Texas is gonna be good. I don't know if I'd rank them number one. Um, I think the Arch Manning hype is very high for a guy that hasn't really started any meaningful games. He started a couple games last year, but they were against lower quality opponents. Not to say that I don't think he'll be good, but ranking them number one when he's your quarterback and we haven't seen anything really out of him yet seems a little high to me.
Feel that.
I do think that's fair. I will say counter though is Ohio State's too, and I don't think that they've announced who their quarterback is yet though either.
Literally their
Sometimes the
whole
talent's
team
so
got drafted.
crazy. But I do agree though on the Arch Manning stuff.
I mean, I don't even think they'll win week one. I mean, I think Ohio State's probably going to win that game, but
In the shoe too.
yeah, so I don't know, but I think the Big 12 is going to be really interesting this year. I think Utah is going to bounce back. I know they obviously weren't ranked, but I think they weren't too far off. I'm pretty sure they had votes. So like Utah, obviously Arizona State is probably going to become a powerhouse. I mean Iowa State, obviously as usual. KU, I don't know. What do you guys think are like? What do you what's a record prediction for KU for you guys?
Mm. I would want a bowl game. Like I think 6 wins would be a big year just as far as like how many people left last year for graduating and everything like that. But like with the way that the Big 12 is right now, it's going to be really tough. I can't like think of their schedule off the top of my head. I'll tag into it and take a look.
I
But
feel like six has to be the bare minimum, no?
you'd think, but like Porn
I
was
don't
saying, the
think
Big
so.
12
I
is
think it's gonna
really
be
good,
tough.
man.
And we
We
got
lost
Missouri this year.
we
Hmm.
lost our two like really good corners, all of our starting receivers, our
Our
top
top
running
running
back.
back.
Bringing back Shaw will be good. I think he's like a capable starting running back, but we lost like the heart and soul of our team and Dev.
Yeah, that's going to be a big learning curve for them for sure.
And can Jalen Daniels stay healthy
Yeah.
and not he stayed healthy last year, but for the first time, but was not himself probably the first half of the season.
Mm-mm.
Once he turned it on, he looked good, but
Seemed like he was still hurt.
Yeah, I don't know. I think JD will bounce back,
I
but
hope.
obviously, I mean, losing all those weapons too sucks as well.
Like I can't even think of who our tight end is this year.
I don't know.
I have no idea. Like That's what I'm saying. I can't even think of who like wide receiver one is, like that type of stuff. It was such a senior heavy class. Um, or I
I
should
know we
say
brought
like
in
crew.
a receiver from Bama
Yeah,
transfer who I saw his like speed training numbers in the off season. He reached like 23 miles an hour or something.
little bit of RAS score.
Yeah. So I mean that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know though. College is going to be interesting this year. I feel like LSU is going to be
Hmm.
really good. I think Auburn's probably going to be a lot better this year too.
Yep. Like that take. I like the LSU take a lot. I think
Yeah.
Nuss is going to be a dog. He could probably be like a Heisman candidate if everything kind of comes together the right way. I
What were they ranked?
think they were 11,
LSU, they're 9. They play
9.
Clemson. They play Clemson week 1. We'll see how good they are, I guess, right out the gate.
Yeah, right? Holy shit.
That'll be a
I don't know.
good
I don't
QB
believe.
battle.
There's some teams in the SEC I just don't believe in. I don't believe in LSU. I don't
They're gonna
believe in
get
Auburn.
they're gonna get the
I'll tell
benefit
you
of
the
the doubt
sneaky
though, just because
team,
it's SEC.
sneaky team, Florida.
Yeah.
Oh,
Florida kind of they went on a tear the second half last year, right?
I'd watch out for Florida.
Yes.
I'll tell you this. If I got one takeout throw out there, either Florida or South Carolina, one of those two teams will be in the playoff next year.
I love the take on South Carolina.
We got to keep receipts on these takes.
Oh, it's a recorded podcast, my friend.
Well, yeah, but like accessible receipts.
Sure, I know. That would be fun to create like a Google Doc with all the different takes and stuff like that.
Dude, imagine we had
Noted.
one.
Noted.
Imagine we had one spanning like since like 2021.
Oh,
What
jeez.
would be number one on there? Tim Anderson.
Oh my God.
That's the number one take of all time.
You got to say it now,
Yeah,
Bailey.
I was gonna say for context,
You
Bailey,
got to say it now.
college at the height of the White Sox success while we were in college a couple years ago, Bailey said that Tim Anderson is a better baseball player probably than Babe Ruth.
The
So
context of the argument is
no
missing.
context, man. There's no
Uh,
there's no
I was
denying
saying that
that.
like if Babe Ruth were to play in today's baseball, he would strike out pretty much every single time. If DeGrom was pitching against him, he's
What if
not
Babe
touching that
Ruth had
ball.
the modern training though, and
That's
all
not what
modern
my
stuff?
argument was, though. That was the take. But if we're going to be talking about there, I do think we should also talk a little bit about the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm. Great transition.
Yeah, great little segue.
So I would say for me, the biggest takeaway that I had was, uh, and I'll let Frabs talk a little bit about it because it kind of involves one of his teams. But I saw a big stockpile. I felt like on the relievers on the back end. I think teams are realizing once you get in the playoffs that your starters they'll go 5 innings, maybe 6 if you're lucky. But then it just comes down to how many arms you have in the bullpen. And I saw both New York teams and Philly especially. Between those three. They all went after a lot of relievers and pretty quickly and for some hefty prices. And I guess you could throw obviously the Padres in there, but we already figured out that they just don't care about prospects at all. So
No. God, I wish the
Yeah.
Cubs got Mason Miller if he was on the table, man. I wrote that down. I was like, I wanted to bring that up. It just was like, I felt like Jed got so cheap. He traded for like value guys,
You guys are in a good
and
spot right now.
they're so cold though. Cubs have been really bad recently. Like the
Better to
bats
be
are
cold
cold.
now. It's better to be cold now though than in September.
Yeah, but who knows if it gets back on. It feels like they used all their juice in the beginning of the year right now. And then the guy they traded for, what Soroka or whatever his name was, gets hurt like 2 innings in his first start last night. It's like, what are you gonna do? And then Dansby doesn't step on first base. Just I could go on for hours. The ump was bad, but that's neither here nor there. It's just
Dude, tell me
Cubs.
about. Yeah, I don't want to hear it, man. I guess I can't talk being a Yankees fan. Like, I guess I am spoiled relatively, even though the Cubs have won one more recently.
Yeah,
I
but
guess
still.
can't really talk about the Pirates or the White Sox, but what I don't know.
when did you guys win yours in 2009?
Yeah.
Ours was 2005. We're not that far apart. And I'll say this, I may be the only person happy with my baseball team right now, even though my team has the worst record right now out of all of our teams.
Yeah, I'm not.
So
Yeah, I was
10
just
and 10 and
gonna say,
5 since the All-Star break though. So there is a little bit of respect on the Sox. They're playing some good ball.
ever
Just
since Pope
keep an
Leo,
eye.
man, you guys have had a little swag.
Oh.
The Pope.
Shout out Pope Leo. Ever since he became Pope, I feel like the Sox have had a different vibe around them.
A little
I'd
bit
agree.
extra juice.
I guess probably because the Rockies have taken the mantle of being the worst team
Yeah.
in the league. So
Oh
that's
my
probably
God, they
why.
were
Yeah.
awful.
But I don't
Well,
know.
the Sox have also called up just a bunch of young guys as well, though. Like Colson Montgomery got called up like right before the All-Star break.
Hmm.
I saw something that this was on Sunday, so it could have changed yesterday. Actually, it might have because Schwarber had a crazy day. But on Sunday, Colson had the most RBIs since the All-Star break in the whole entire MLB, which is pretty impressive for a guy that just got called up. Teal's been batting really well, along with Cuero, both two young catchers that we've gotten in trades recently. Good have good catchers as well. Midra's batting 280. Vargas is only probably batting 230, but with some pop on some big clutch hitting. So the young guys are pitching. They're
Thanks.
not a good baseball team, but they're fun to play. They're
Those
fun to
pitchers
watch.
are fun.
Thanks for the rundown on the Sox.
Hey, I know you don't care, but for the people in the rest of the in the dweller as well in the MLB
There's
world with 30 games only 500,
there's
there's
a
good
small
takeaways.
there's a small pocket somewhere that will eventually tune into this pod and hear a little bit of White Sox love because it is there. I will say, dude, their pitchers are fun. They got some good young arms that should be a lot of fun in a couple years, especially if those bats start getting moving with all the young dudes that they're picking up. They should be all right.
You just got to hold
Definitely.
off or hold out until that sale, the Reinsdorf sale, goes through in like 5 years.
Yeah,
But
that's
they
gonna be
did say
big
that
time.
Ishbia, I believe is how you pronounce his last
Yes.
name, that
Hmm.
he's going to that he could buy it earlier, but that there were going to be cash infusions, is the way that it was termed, which I know Ryan was a cheap ass, so it's probably more just to pay off some of his debts. But maybe there's this small chance that he actually puts a little bit of money into the team a little bit beforehand to try getting a little bit of winning culture as well before he gets in there. But
Hopefully,
maybe
sprinkle
that's
some of that shit over to
that's
the
the
Bulls,
hopium. That's the
dude.
hopium.
He needs to sprinkle some of that shit over here, bro.
But yeah, I'm not very happy with baseball in general right now just because of the Yankees being trash. I don't even know what their ceiling would be if Judge. Luckily, I don't think he's missing the rest of the year or anything. I think he
He's
only.
back.
What?
He's back tonight.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he just got activated today.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was out for like a week though. It was definitely a little bit.
but he's DHing. I think for the
yeah, he is.
foreseeable
Okay,
future.
yeah, he's DHing tonight.
Nice. There,
See that
there you go.
honestly, that kind of shows how like disengaged I am a little bit right now. I didn't even check usual like I usually do, but I'm sure that like they'll be okay. They'll make the playoffs, but realistically, I don't think they're a World Series caliber team. I think the AL is pretty interesting this year. Now, obviously, after all like the deadline dust is settled, I don't know who I see coming out of the AL. Maybe the Astros.
Mm. I,
I just don't think the Astros have the pitching.
Tigers.
you know who I wrote down that I think is really interesting in the AL, man? I think Seattle made a nice push. I think they're gonna be ferocious, especially if those pitchers can keep doing what they're doing. A little bit of woo. I love woo,
Hey,
man.
the Mariners are just started off against the White Sox for a nice little West Coast series here, so we'll see, man.
I'm totally watching that after this.
I will say I'm not
Well,
being.
it's 1-0 White Sox. Lenny Sosa home run.
Get
Bang! I
out.
told you the offense is hot.
Get
1-0,
Wow.
baby.
Sosa.
That's
Yeah.
Hey,
awesome.
all I'm saying is, like I said, those bats, man, the young guys, they're getting it rolling.
It's be fun.
Believe.
Takes a couple years to get everything rolling, you know. I wish our one of our other members, Will, was on. He knows his Royals. Goo Wei. He knows his Royals, man. He'd be
To be
able to talk
honest,
about the process.
I've been watching a ton of the Royals this season, and
Beating
Also, really
KC.
quick, Brad, Wu's pitching, by the way, as well.
Oh wow. Yeah,
I just saw
I'm
that.
totally watching this after
dude,
that.
I can't believe I didn't see that Judge got activated. That's actually insane.
That's awesome.
We
Y'all
also got to
needed
chat
that,
with our
man.
boy Corn. The Pirates, they made some moves as well at the deadline. What do you think, man?
I will preface this kind of as I said in the first episode, not a huge baseball guy, not overly plugged in to baseball, but was looking into some of the moves Pirates made, traded away a lot of guys, kind of a permanent rebuild state for the last 10 years at least. Um, I was kind of surprised they traded Key Brian Hayes away. He's not the best bat, but he's been a Gold Glove guy.
Hmm.
And was kind of one of the promising
The pieces.
young guys on the team. Traded him away to the Reds. Traded Bednar to the Yankees.
I
Also
bet you were glad
traded
to get rid of Bednar. That dude blows.
has not been up
No,
to.
Bednar has been good this year since he's been called back up. Look at
Well,
the
he screwed
stats.
me in fantasy the first half of the year.
Sit on my team now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Bednar's man.
I mean,
I'm sure he's gonna blow it somehow for the Yankees in the playoffs.
Yo, he's gonna have that Aroldis smile on his face.
Dude, we already DFA'd that guy Jake Bird from the Rockies. Great. We already called him down.
That ass.
biggest thing for the Pirates
Yeah.
was a lot of people are being critical of the GM, Ben Cherington. The returns he's gotten for some of these guys not been up to par with what people want to see. Seeing a lot of people calling for his head. Been the GM for 5 years now. Best record has been like 70 something wins. You got a guy like Paul Skeens on your team. You got to kind of surround him with some talent. It can be difficult in the MLB having owners that don't want to spend too much money, but you got to kind of figure something out. So
That's next level job security on his part.
what I've seen is that he could be gone after this year. But yeah, being a GM for 5 years when you're not having success like that is interesting for sure.
I don't know if I've asked you this before. Do you think it's smart to trade Skeens? Like say like this off season, you get to a point where it's like you could jumpstart the rebuild a little bit instead of having one pitcher, or do you think you stick around with him and give him a bag?
I think that's a tough question. I think it depends on how much money the owner's willing to spend.
You have to
You
give a lot
gotta.
of coin for him.
Can I ask a quick question? Corn, how many more years do you guys have him under control? Do you know?
I don't, but
I could find that out
this
really
is only
quick.
his second
It's
year, so
so this is the only thing I'll say is I've heard a lot of people and like a lot of talk saying that there's going to be a lockout in the 2027 season though. So if things change in terms of like pay structures and everything though. That's maybe a guy you would rather keep instead of trading like him at the deadline and seeing how that all pans out. 4 years of control. Yeah. So with having a year and a half towards that potential lockout, which like if you heard like the Castellanos things as well as like Harper with the locker room with Manfred, if you haven't seen it, you can go read about it. First, they got an altercation and there was talk about a lockout, and they were saying they're already talking about that a year and a half out. That's not a good sign. So I think a player like Skeens, like you said, that just it's so hard to trade him away. I
Oh,
mean,
you're
he's the
never
best
going to
pitcher
get
in
the return.
baseball.
We
It's
shouldn't
him and
even
Tariq
be having
Skubal.
this conversation. Like realistically, he's the best pitcher in baseball. They should be itching to sign him.
Yeah.
Like realistically, if they trade him, then what? They're gonna get players, those guys are gonna get good, and then it's gonna start the cycle. Again, that's why there needs to be like a salary floor for baseball. I
He's
don't know
getting
about
paid eight. He's getting paid $875,000 this year. That's
that's
crazy.
yeah. Yeah, he's gonna get paid, and unfortunately, Corn. I don't know if it's gonna be from the Pirates. I hope.
He deserves it.
The repeat of Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he still had a stop in Houston though between.
Yeah. Right on. Anything else we want to throw in there? Wise? I mean, I brushed on the Cubs. It's just gonna piss me off if I talk
That I'm
about it.
not I'm not salty, but I think the Blue Jays are gonna come back down to earth.
I agree with that.
I promise I'm not salty, but
Yeah. Right on. All right. Well, that covers a little bit of trade deadline. Um, I'd say we should transition over to week one of NFL preseason is starting to come up. I would say I think an interesting conversation is kind of like players you're looking at slash like different units that you're interested. I kind of want to throw in there since we got a little bit of, together bias here with the Bears, Bailey. I think one thing that I'm really interested to see is the Bears O line in this first game against the Dolphins. I think it'll be really cool to see what kind of different sets they throw in there, specifically Ozzie Trapillo. I throw on the interviews for Ben Johnson just about like every morning, kind of just hear what was going on at camp, like interested to hear what he has to say as far as like which weapons he's liking, because there's just so many moving parts right now. As far as like we talked about it last week, like taking Colson Loveland, Luther Burden, adding those different types of pieces in there, I think is really, really interesting. But the one that I really want to see is the Bears O line because I think left tackle's wide open right now. And if Ozzie can kind of slide in there, I've been hearing his name a lot about just like the way that he's been going about his business, acting like a pro. He has that connection with Poles too, so it's a little bit of a like he plays golf with his dad type stuff. Like it's like a little bit of a I know who you are type of thing in that sense. So I'm really interested to see how that room looks come the first week. So that's kind of what I would think, just to see what that looks like is what I'm super interested in.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I know I was reading earlier that they said the biggest open competition on the Bears, for both sides of the ball is left tackle. So I think you hit
100%.
the nail on the head. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little surprised that they haven't announced that Braxton would be the starter. I
Mm,
don't think he's never gonna be like a top 10 left tackle, but he's pretty serviceable from what we've seen. Obviously with having that experience, with having I'm gonna say Kieran because I like Amabaji. I know I mispronounced that. And then Ozzy, like you said, who's more on that reliable side, but two young tackles who don't have experience. Are you really wanting to trot them out on a primetime game week one? My head leans towards no on that, personally, but now, I would definitely think that when it comes to tackles, as we've all seen, those guys get injured throughout the season. So
hmm
you can never have enough of those guys. Being able to play, I think if they said Ozzy could play both sides as well, left and right tackle, which could prove to be very beneficial.
He
The thing
played
that
he
I would
played
say,
right in college.
he played right tackle in
Yeah.
college. Okay. So that kind of goes to show that. I would say the thing that I'm looking forward to most, I guess just how like the offense and structure looks. I'm not going to react one way or the other too much to it. I just kind of want to see what it actually does look like, though. I think getting those reps between Ben and some of the guys that will play is just going to be important. Uh, I just try not to look too much into preseason. Sometimes it's kind of it's obviously enjoyable to do, but more just kind of looking to see how the system gets implemented.
Yeah, I agree because especially like with the offense, just in general, like I was saying, there's just so many new weapons, so many new pieces, and you don't get to see all those like week one of preseason. That's more like week three, week four, and that kind of stuff. So we're not going to get that as much. But that's why I mentioned the O line, man. I just feel like it's so wide open besides those three or those four positions with Darnell Wright, Jonah Jackson. Drew, whatever his face is, and then Joe Tooney. Um, I think those dudes, they're locked in pretty good. And then the left tackle's wide open because, like you said, I agree. I think Braxton Jones is going to end up being the week one starter. But man, I'm hearing a lot of talk about Ozzy, man. He is he's making a lot of noise with the coaching staff. So I'm just curious to see if he's able to win that job week one. You know, if he is, that'd be pretty freaking cool for a second rounder that people were like, who? When they picked him. That would be a nice look and a nice box ticked in Poles' book, in my opinion.
I think biggest guy I'm kind of excited about in the preseason, running back. You know me, big running back guy.
Hmm.
Um, I'm looking at Kendre Miller going into year three.
Okay.
Has struggled to stay healthy, but I've always been a Kendre Miller truther in terms of the talent there. I think he's a really good running back, kind of has the complete package in terms of what you're looking for. Unfortunately, as we are KU guys, Devin Neal has a hamstring injury right now, and he's week to week, according to the coaching staff there. I think the Saints are looking to get a guy to be the RB2 behind Kamara. And I mean, this is kind of the opportunity for Kendre to prove himself to be that guy. Never want to root against Devin being a KU guy, but I think I think Kendre has the opportunity here. He's healthy right now. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. But we'll see what he does with the opportunity.
Yeah, I feel that, man. You love Kendry, dude.
I do. I do.
That's
Ever
that's a
since
your guy.
TCU.
Yeah, that's a your guy.
Another guy I had written down just got injured today on his throwing hand is Joe Milton. Got
Hmm.
traded to the Cowboys this offseason. The backup competition right now is between him and Will Greer. Will Greer's not a stud by any means, but he's been around the league for a little while. You
Hmm.
know, can be a backup, can be in the room. Joe Milton obviously has a rocket of an arm, a lot of physical talent there. When he played last year against the Bills, like third stringers or whatever, kind of lit it up. But yeah, kind of seeing what he can do in the preseason. Can he solidify himself as the backup in Dallas? Be kind of interesting. I think he has a lot of talent. Seems like he's the type of guy that throws every pass with maximum velocity, whether that's like a 5 yard pass or a 50-yard pass. He kind of throws it the same. That's kind of the biggest weakness for him. But yeah, kind of just be interested to watch him in the preseason and kind of see if he can make things come together in year two.
I agree,
I
dude.
will say, Vols fans still believe in Joe Milton. So
I think a lot of people believe in Joe Milton, dude. He's a great like I can't remember, is this his second year, right?
Yeah, he was a
yeah.
Yeah,
rookie
dude,
last
he's
year.
he's a really nice taxi stash. If we're talking a little dynasty, that type of stuff, dude. He's for like super flex leagues, I think he's a really good taxi stash to kind of have on there just in case something happens. I mean, the Cowboys traded for him, like they're definitely expecting him to be a valuable piece of the puzzle in the sense of, making the 53 man 100%. So, um, I'm interested to see what that, but you were talking Cowboys a little bit. That kind of sparked my interest. We were talking about this a little bit pre-show. Dude, Micah Parsons. What what are we thinking with that kind of stuff? What do we want to see out of that? Like he's probably going to get traded. I mean, he's pissed at the Cowboys right now.
I don't think he's going to get traded. I think this is, and I guess just recent history shows, the past couple of years have shown this is kind of just how the Cowboys have almost been doing business with everyone. And it's like a whole song and dance to get a contract extension worked out. But I think ultimately Jerry knows it would be crazy to let Micah walk. I think he should be a Cowboy for life, to be honest. But at least you got to get him on another contract. And I think they'll get it done. But I guess it's the NFL, so you never know. Crazier things have happened. I could also, I guess, see him getting traded to, I don't know, maybe the Bears.
Hmm. You touch on that, Bailey. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. You know my opinion.
I personally don't think we should be trading for Micah. I know I probably am on the minority on that side. Don't get me wrong, like he's a top level player in the NFL. Would love to have him if we trade for him. Will I be excited?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Will I talk myself into it? Absolutely.
Khalil
But
Mack part two.
that's exactly what I was going to
Same
get to.
exact vibe.
It's you're just buying all in. I think that right now, I do think that the NFL is a little bit open. I don't think that there's a clear dominant team, so that does kind of spark it. But the division is just so difficult right now, and I think there's a certain level of, I wouldn't say like expectancy that you need to have of like making the playoffs to make that trade, but you have to feel like you're on the caliber. And I just, even if we trade for Micah Parsons, I just don't have like 100% certainty that we make the playoffs with the division we're in, with the schedule we have this year. Like I said, I'd love to have him on the team. I just don't think it's the right play right now for us. I think
I
that
will
there's probably maybe one or two teams that it does make sense for, because you also got to pay him a $40 million contract, probably over 4 years. That's over $150 million in money. So
It's gonna be
there's a
like
lot of
44.
factors.
It's gonna be
That's
like
Why
what I'm
not? But
saying.
44,
why
dude.
not load up now while Caleb's on his rookie deal? Why not try and go for it right now? With that logic, though.
Because I think
So
you could go maybe next year, maybe you get Myles Garrett.
no,
He signed an extension also.
Yeah, he just
yeah,
He already
resigned.
signed an
Plus, you would
extension.
want Micah anyway. 'Cause if you do resign him, he's younger. He's way younger.
he's way younger. He's also like that's the thing too. Like I'm definitely on the camp of let's trade for Micah. I think he would be a dog. He would be a monster of the midway, like really fit in with that type of vibe. And I think Dennis Allen would use him all over the field. Like he would be a freak, man. Like he's proven he can edge from both sides. He can go from the D tackle position type of stuff. He could even play the Mike like up top and the linebacker. Like he does it all. And I just think a guy like that, I think I just looked it up. Yeah, he's 26. Like, I mean, you get a guy like that in the building, it's going to change the entire outlook of the defense. And I don't know what you have to trade for him. I would assume it's an arm and a leg, but
I think I don't know. I think it's kind of a moot point because I don't know. I feel like he's just gonna get re-signed and extended. Same thing happened with Myles Garrett. Pretty much, he said he was done with the Browns,
yep.
and then 2 days later, dude was like, "Yeah, I'm so happy to be a Brown for life." Like,
Yeah, but
never.
they chucked a bag, like a big time, fully guaranteed bag. I don't think the Cowboys are ready to do that
I
because
I
I think the Cowboys though, like they are the type of team that would go top heavy like that.
I think the problem you run into with the Cowboys is the amount of money they've committed to Dak and CD already.
hmm
Dak
Great point.
Dak was 4 years, 240. CD was like 33 a year, I think.
I think it was more than that, right?
CD was four
CD,
year 4 year 136.
jeez.
So you got
Uh,
90 million dollars committed to two players for the
My
next
man
four
Ferg
years.
just got his too. He just got his
Ferg
Yeah.
extension.
Ferg did get a bag, which is kind of ironic considering the Parsons situation. Um,
I think that
I
added fuel to the fire, dude. I was saying in our little group chat, I think that added fuel to the fire for sure.
I lean towards Frab's side. I would say, um, I mean, he's the type of player like you just can't trade a guy like that. You gotta kind of find a way to make it work. But I think one of the biggest things is like the whole note he posted. Like it really seems like he's actually pissed off at the Cowboys. Like whether that's a negotiation tactic or not, like he kind of seems like he's done with them. So if he really is, and they have to make a trade happen, like where could he go? What could the price be? I don't know. That's one of the best defensive players in the league, and he's only 26. You could get a good return for him.
I agree. I
Brad,
agree.
I did want to touch on obviously with week one. preseason coming up. Some of the rookies maybe like under the radar. Like
I
I don't
like
know,
that.
some people like you guys have your eye on because I know for me there's a couple I feel like that'll be interesting.
We talked about it a little bit last week, so you should throw your piece in there, kind of what you're thinking.
Said Jack. Well, for me, I think Jackson for sure.
Dart,
Is he playing or no?
I would assume
Yeah, I think
so.
so. You stole him off my list. That was one of the guys I had written down to talk about. So
Yeah, I think he's gonna get some pretty meaningful tick out there. So, I mean, obviously getting a good look at him. I mean, it's only week one, but just seeing him out there in pads, think Jalen Royals on the Chiefs, a good one
Mm.
too. I
Yeah,
think,
buddy.
yeah, Jalen Royals, good.
Oh my goodness. We
Well,
got Will Cook in the chat. We
Yeah,
got
sure.
Goo Way.
My work
perfect
dinner
segue. Had to mention Jalen Royals. He came screaming in.
work dinner went a little long and ended up catching up with some random people I met while eating dinner. Um, so I'm here now. What have I missed?
So we
Everything?
chatted. No, not really, honestly. We talked. This is the big, like, main topic. We talked preseason poll for college football, and then we talked MLB trade deadline. We're talking now just like week one preseason, kind of some different stuff you've seen. We talked a little bit about Micah Parsons. Um, yeah, I think that covers it just about.
Now just like doing rookies, like
Was,
rookies.
any,
Yeah,
Excited to
was
see.
anyone on Team Jerry here?
as in he's like they think he's in the right.
Yeah, was anyone here thinking that Jerry Jones is in the right?
We didn't
I
really
don't
talk about that. We just talked about whether
know.
he was going to stay on the Cowboys versus like actually possibly getting traded.
What do you think,
Okay.
Will?
Well, with the current way the market is set up, and now that TJ Watt has sort of reset the market, I understand why Jerry may be hesitant to pay Micah 41 or 42 million, right? Like,
It might even be 44.
yeah, I can't remember what TJ's I know went up by 1 million over Miles Garrett, I think. So it'd probably be 1 million more than that. Like, market going up. Way that they paid Dak and CD already, you kind of get why they would pay Micah, but also how often you get like a Hall of Fame DN. And
Hmm.
the way Jerry's handled the media is just absolutely freaking filthy. So still getting used to the podcast. I'm gonna drop some cuss words, but I had to pause. And I'm gonna mute myself just a sec.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I think you bring up a good point, just kind of like talking about how it's interesting that by him deciding to wait to sign Micah Parsons, it kind of shot himself in the foot. And you're gonna bitch about how much money you have to put down to keep him around, but you were the one that didn't sign him a year ago when you knew that you wanted to keep him around. And it's like you could have saved probably, I'd say even 15 to 20 million dollars. I mean, like
It's always good to be early paying these guys. Like you pay
100%.
always like what the Jets did, like stuff like what the Texans did with Stingley,
Yep.
like stuff like that. That's you treat your players good, but obviously we're at this point now and the price is always it's just going to keep going up and so the
Yep.
market's going to get reset again. So I mean at this point I feel like if you're Jerry you just kind of bite the bullet, pay him now and as opposed to dealing with like a headache down the line.
It's gonna be a headache
Frebs,
this whole off season.
I
Well,
think Frebs, you
yeah,
hit a good point as well.
he's not gonna play if he doesn't get paid, right? He's gonna
Hmm.
sit out. So
Yeah, I agree. I like you said, the market always just kind of goes up. I'll speak at least a little bit from the Bears fandom side, but we got Jalen Johnson, who I would put as at least an elite cornerback. We may disagree throughout on where he ranks, but I think most people would put him at least consensus top 10. And
Yeah.
he's getting
Oh
paid
yeah.
$19 million. And if you look at cornerbacks now, they're all getting paid close to like 30 million. And that was a contract that was not even like an off season and a half ago, and that's a $10 million difference, which is a 33% increase over 2 years, which is just kind of crazy to see the boom in the numbers.
Yeah.
Mhm. And there's two sides to every story, but if you believe Micah Parsons, he was willing to sign with the Cowboys months ago, for less than TJ and Miles Garrett have signed now.
I
He
bet he
wanted to stay
was.
home. He wanted to be a Cowboy, but according to him, they wouldn't speak to him with his agent. They only tried to make contract negotiations with him directly, like secretively almost,
It's
which just
crazy.
doesn't seem like a good way to do business at all.
No, it's horrible. That
And
doesn't work out well. Like these guys don't want to be negotiating their own contract unless they say they do. They want someone else knowing like the different specs and stuff like that.
I
Like,
just stepped away to get water for a second. I assume we're talking about Jerry Jones and his negotiating tactics.
yes.
Sure. I picked up on that right away.
Yeah, because it's crazy. It's actually insane. Like trying to not have your agent in the room just because you want to try to sneak a deal some other sneaky way. Like there's no other way around it. Like
You think
it's
he's still like leading the negotiations and everything? Like you think he's still super involved in all that?
oh, he's in the room 100%, dude. He's in the war room at the head of the table during the draft. Like he signs off on everything when it comes to that organization. Like,
He runs that team.
oh yeah,
Modern
totally.
modern Al Davis right now.
Literally.
Yes.
Yeah, like
I guess
he's all over that. There's a reason it's called Jerry's World.
I agree.
I don't know, man. I think the Cowboys, though, we're giving them a lot of airtime right now, but for what it's worth, I think they could be okay this year.
I think they will be okay. Like I don't get why people think that the Cowboys are a horrible team.
I think
If
it's going to
Micah
be
plays,
status quo
if
for them. And
if Micah plays, they'll be a team that's absolutely over 500 this
dude, it'll
year.
be status
People
quo
are
like
No.
9, 10 win year for them, I think.
yes.
No
I like
way.
when has it not been? If Dak is healthy and they have CD and they have Pickens
Name a
and they have
running
Mike on the
back,
other side,
dude. They don't have a run
doesn't matter.
game.
They haven't had a run game in the last 5 years.
JD
Oh,
Blue.
I wouldn't
Let's
say the
just
last
let's
five.
just
I wouldn't
make
say the
it
last 5 years.
let's make
that's
it
like
clear to
Three
the
3 years.
public
years.
that
Three.
Bailey is defending their run game because he has Javante Williams and is hanging on by a thread in our dynasty league. So let's just make that clear to the audience, all 30 viewers of
There's a
this
I don't
video.
even think
conflict of
Javante is
That's
interest.
the
good.
only reason Bailey is defending the Cowboys right now.
I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that if you look at it, like they've made the playoffs probably what, like 6 out of the last 8 years or something like that. Without looking at it, it's
The
probably
NFC
around
East
there.
sucked.
They had both of the NFC Championship game teams last year, so clearly they don't suck.
They have sucked, is what I'm saying. Like,
Well, what are your thoughts on the Commanders? Do you think their season was legit last year, or do you think that like maybe there were 3 or 4 games that they won, like not to like bring up bad memories, but like the Bears game,
it's okay.
like are there a couple more of those games where you think maybe they won like just by a hair, where it was like okay they probably could have lost these games too? Just curious what your
Yeah,
thoughts are on that one.
I would say so. I'm not gonna lie. I know that this may not be a popular take. We weren't planning on talking about this, but we can get into Commanders a little bit. But they like won some really like I would classify as like miracle games last year. I felt like even if you look at like I think it was the Dallas game where they had what like the 87-yard McLaurin touchdown with like 18 seconds to go in the game. That's I mean that's like one of those plays that you see once a year. I felt like they had like two or three of those last year. And I get that there is absolutely certainly something to be said when it comes down to clutch time and you put in the result because that is something that does translate. But you have to see that year over year. But Jaden, you've only seen it with 1 year. I think that there's a lot of hate on Caleb bias, maybe as a Bears fan or what or not. But I just want to see a little bit more of a resume before people start crowning people and like slandering people. Like Caleb still had 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, only 6 picks, which by the way was the least out of all the rookie quarterbacks that played outside of maybe May. But my point though is like you got to see a little bit of a basis. It can't only be one season. I think that don't get me wrong. I think Jaden's a spectacular player, but I just want to see what he does this year. I think a lot of teams are going to key in on him. They know what he can do a little bit now. Having some of that preparation, it'll be interesting to see. And yeah, like I said, you can't bank on two or three Hail Marys in a season, which is what they had last year. So
So,
I don't know.
Brad,
Are we
Brad,
follow-up
that's
doing
a
are
question.
we
good
doing
segue.
the are we doing the second year QB
I
discussion?
was gonna
Hold
say
on.
that's a good segue, Brad, to that.
Can I
I
ask
would,
Billy a follow-up
yeah,
question real quick, please?
yeah. Bring in that question. I was
Here's the
curious.
question. The follow-up question is, say PFT from Barstool is in here, and this may create some internet drama if it goes viral here. But if PFT was in here and he said, "Oh, the Bears absolutely suck. Caleb Williams is the worst second-year QB in the league right now," what would you say to him, Blade Orn?
Well, I don't think he would say that because he's also really good friends with Big Cat, who's an avid Bears fan. But
But also, you just
I
went
mean,
after his Commanders team.
everybody's entitled to their opinion. I think that I think Caleb's going to shock a lot of people this year. That's all I'm going to say. I think that this year Caleb will be the best rookie, like, out of the rookie class last year, the best quarterback.
What if Caleb isn't even the best second year quarterback in his division this year?
Are we talking about JJ McCarthy?
Yeah, we stir in the pot a little bit.
Who else, kid? Who else?
Like I said, the good things are only a month away. Bears
QB
Vikings
Whisperer
opening
O'Connell's
week.
gonna get him
So
right.
ready for that game, dude. I'm
Detroit,
I
man.
think
so ready
I
for
think that
that
there's an
Monday night
argument to be made
game.
that O'Connell's. I think there's an argument to be made that O'Connell's the, if not a top three, the best coach in the league.
Oh, totally.
He made Sam Darnold look good. Why can't he do the same for JJ?
He's made every QB that he's had look good, including Case Keenum. Like
Well, he can be
that's
good, but he can't drive the car for Jordan Addison everywhere, though. So I mean that hurts.
that's a good one.
I think if we're dipping the toes into the second year
I trust
QB
you, man.
discussion,
Yeah,
we might as well just jump in.
let's do it. Let's talk about it. We've had it as a thought. Let's talk a little bit.
Let's talk about one second year QB that I feel like has gone super under the radar in our group, Drake May.
Good, good.
I like
I
him.
think I think Drake's he was a really good prospect. I liked him a lot coming out of UNC. Um, I think he dealt with a bad offense, a bad coaching ecosystem last year. Kind of knocked him a little bit under the radar. I think his rushing ability really stood out last year. Don't have the stats in front of me, so I don't know exactly
He can
how many
scoot.
rushing yards he had, but he can definitely move.
Yeah.
I think adding Diggs to that room will help him quite a bit. We've seen several examples over the last few years of, you know, QBs who struggled a little bit in their rookie season, adding a veteran receiver, including Josh Allen, who added Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Um, while Stephon Diggs might not be the best role model off the field, getting into some shenanigans on boats, he's a good receiver. I think he can do what the Patriots need to do. And I think Josh McDaniels is not a good head coach, but a good offensive coordinator,
Especially on the fucking Patriots too.
especially on the Patriots. So
Horn,
he
are
could,
you more excited to see Drake May or Penix?
I would say Drake May.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
I think Penix definitely showed some promise last year. I think he started 3 games, maybe 4.
They're all against
Um,
shit opponents though.
Is anybody on the Penix side? Because I know I
I,
am.
I
I
mean, I think the
am.
Falcons have a good offense. He has good
I yeah,
weapons.
I think Penix is probably the most like slept on quarterback in the class. Like even me, like I know I was talking about Caleb, but like I think Penix has a high. It's kind of like Bo Nix a little bit, but I just think that they have a little bit of a better offense. I think the difference is the head coach, but I think like in terms of talent, like Penix has it, and like Will was kind of saying, I'll let him talk about it, but he got a good offense as well. So
I think what they say in training camp, Kyle Pitts is his number one target.
Apparently, they're playing golf together on the weekends.
Maybe they're finally going to use their secret weapon.
Oh man,
Also,
that would get me excited.
Bijan, probably a top 3 fantasy running back, maybe a top 3 running back just in general. You got Drake London, some young talent. It's just something about Penix, man, just screams Atlanta quarterback. Could be the do-rag. Could just be that he screams that he fits in perfectly with the Atlanta offense.
The lefty slinger
He's a
too.
lefty, just like Mike Vick.
Uh-huh. No, it works.
No, I think honestly, this was a historic QB draft class, right? Had 6 QBs go in the first round. And I think there's reasons to be excited about any one of these guys. Like
Yeah.
we haven't seen JJ play. We saw a little bit out of Penix, about half the season out of Drake, full seasons from Jaden, Bo, and Caleb. And I think they all showed enough to at least be a little bit excited.
Also,
I know.
to mention the NFC South is not the best division.
I think it's going to be interesting this year, though, man. I think the Falcons are going to be good or somewhat okay. I think the Panthers are going to surprise a lot of people. Obviously, the Saints are going to be like probably the worst team in the league, unfortunately.
I think the Saints are tanking for Arch.
Yeah,
100%.
I don't know. You never know.
Arch is going to come out in 2027, not 2026.
Stop it. If he's going to be the number 1 pick, he's coming out. That's a crazy take.
Arch, dude, play for the Saints. That'd be kind of hard. That's
Do
where
not-
Archie played.
Do not doubt the Archie effect. I
Okay.
also think he'll be in college for 4 years. It's similar concept reasoning to why he sat behind Quinn Ewers for 2 years.
I mean, I agree. If he is not the number 1 pick, I think he goes back. But if he is the number 1 pick, say like their preseason number 1, say they get into the playoff and get a bye and win like 2 games, get to like the Natty or even the semifinals, and he's balling and is the number 1 overall pick, dude, he's 100% going to take that money and come out. Like, there's just no way in hell that he stays at Texas a year longer than he should if he already has the number 1 bid. I just don't see a world where that happens.
That's what Peyton Manning did to avoid getting drafted by the Jets. Stayed in college another year.
Saints aren't the worst spot to land right now. I like Kellen Moore a lot. I think he's good.
And the Saints are them bones right now, dude.
Oh, they got bad money. Once you get the young QB and you can kind of figure that out a little bit more.
But they got Tyler Shuck already.
Oh, Jesus.
What if they trade for Trey Lance?
We need Sam on here for Tyler Shuck.
What about Rattler?
Rattler.
We're arguing between Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler.
With a throw in of Trey Lance.
Oh
We
my
haven't
God.
even mentioned the true QB1 of the Saints, Jake Hayner.
Oh my God. Hey, isn't that a 2nd-year QB? Jake Hayner?
He's like a 3rd year.
He's 3rd.
Oh,
Rattler would be
yeah,
would be 2nd.
yeah. I don't know, man. They're a dumpster fire. Their money is so shit, and they're just not built for success right now. That team's going to take a lot more than a year rebuild and an Arch Manning. They're going to need a little bit more juice than that. But
I'm excited about, I don't know, quick, I guess, what would you say? What would you guys say best 3 divisions in the league right now? So I think for most people, you would say NFC North, AFC West, and then after that, would you go like NFC East?
I go
No.
AFC North.
AFC North, yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Real quick, Devin Neal's on the Saints now. Just since we're all KU guys and this is a KU guys.
They might
podcast.
get 14 wins. Who
They're
knows? He might will them to victory on a triple option set with Kamara and Tyler Shuck.
Okay, we can go back to the divisions now.
Well, who do you think the top 3 divisions are?
AFC North, AFC West. In no particular order, I would put NFC. Oh, I'd, that's tough.
On the spot.
AFC North, AFC West, NFC North. NFC West is a close fourth.
I feel
One
that.
of those.
I
Yeah, dude,
think
I wrote down in my notes just like something that I wanted to talk about. Like we were going to talk about it earlier. We kind of brushed past it a little bit, but like talking about NFC West, like the Niners are so interesting, man. Like
They
they're going to
suck.
be really interesting this year. But
I
that's
think they could,
besides the point.
personally, I think they could honestly very well be back in the NFC Championship game.
They suck.
I just don't see a world where they're going to do that, but I think that they have an interesting core of people that, especially after signing Brock, which I think is an insane overpay, but that's neither here nor there. Um, we're talking about second year QBs.
Kyle Shanahan needs to take a rip of the pen and just calm down, man. Guy looks like he's about to have a heart attack every fucking, 3 seconds.
Who?
Kyle Shanahan, dude.
Oh,
It's interesting. Like I said,
yeah,
it's
but he's got Salah back with him now.
That's a fair point.
yeah.
You would be a big solid guy, with being from New York and being a Jets fan and all.
Nice dude. Love Salah as like a person. He seemed like a genuine dude, but he didn't win a lot of games with us. So
He still looks like he could play.
Oh yeah. He's got the aerodynamics.
I feel like Salah talked a lot, like a big game, but I feel like Glenn might be different because I feel like Glenn has like a different swag. I don't know.
He's fun. I feel the
But
same thing with Ben right now. Like that Lions crew was really good.
speaking of Lions, I had a guy that I highlighted for the Hall of Fame game last week that I like to touch on.
Do it.
Pause. Um, Isaac Tesla, third round pick, receiver, had a nice Hall of Fame game. He only played 32 snaps. He had 3 targets, 2 catches, 46 yards. The only target that he did not catch was an end zone target that was an underthrow that got picked. That's neither here nor there. His 2 catches, nice yak ability. Big body guy, 4.4 speed. You love to see the yak there. I was honestly surprised to see that he didn't play that many snaps. He only played 32 snaps. I think he's kind of solidifying himself maybe to be the Lions' third receiver, which for fantasy could be valuable. We'll see how the offense looks with that Ben Johnson, but if he can solidify himself in that role in a good offense, looking at a nice player.
I love that take because we kind of talked about him a little bit last week, and you're totally right about him like solidifying a role. I mean, they traded a lot up for him just in the third round alone, so they were ready to implement him immediately. And speaking of the Hall of Fame game, kind of talking about our missing member here. Now that we have Will, we only have one missing member, Mr. L.
Whoa,
Mush.
real quick though.
Do
Also,
it.
Lambert Smith talked about him last week as well on the Chargers. He got
Ooh.
in the end zone as well on 2 catches. So hey, you guys got to listen to us. We maybe know what we're talking about just a tiny bit.
We watch a lot of football content, and
if El Mush was here right now, he'd probably be gassing up Torrey Horton.
Did
he'd be
he
gassing up
lag out
Trey
for anyone
Lance.
else?
Huh?
Oh,
What's up, Will? Oh, well, that being said, he would probably be gassing up Trey Lance too, because he was talking about Trey Lance, which his bet of the week actually hit. So if we're once we get a little bit more technologically sound, we'll have a little ticker up there. Probably put it like right here. An L Mush tracker. He is 1-0 right now. So if you followed El Mush, getting a win, getting some money in your pocket off of that. But he did have to phone in his bet this week, and it comes in the baseball side, so kind of spreading a little bit into a different wing. I personally don't like this bet being a Cubs fan, but that's again, we've talked about it a lot. That's neither here nor there. But he's talking about on Sunday, Cardinals and Cubs are playing on Sunday Night Baseball. So ESPN, everybody can watch it. He is picking the Cardinals with Sonny Gray on the mound. That's his pick of the week. We'll see if he goes 2-0. I'm hoping he's 1-1, but that being said, that's your El Mush pick of the week. So if you want to make some money or lose some money, follow the mush and see what you can create there.
Can
But
can I talk
yeah.
about a bet I have open right now? As I believe I am Elmush Jr. I make plenty of bad bets myself, so I have a bet open right now. Um, for it's $20 to win, around $80, and it was the Giants money line, and they just absolutely railed the Pirates 8-1. And the second line is the Mariners -1.5 against Chicago White Sox in the top of the fourth with one out. And just wanted to hear the White Sox fans' thoughts on that bet right now, how he's feeling about it, because I'm sure he's got the game on in the background.
Well, you actually missed it earlier. We actually had some crazy timing. Brad was talking about that game in the Mariners, and then at that moment, the Mariners gave up a home run, and Luis Roberts at the plate right now. So maybe we're due for a second home run here in this game. But it is 1-1. We got top four, 2-2 count. We did talk about the White Sox a little bit earlier. I'm not gonna lie. Don't like the play by you because it's not gonna hit because Sox are gonna win tonight. So
Totally throwing that game on after this.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else anybody wants to get off their chest, something they've been thinking about for the week? Kind of like a last call, curtain call type thing. I know I don't. I think we covered everything I could think of.
Can
One
we talk
quick
about?
thing.
Oh,
One
sorry, you
quick
go,
thing.
Corey.
Keenan Allen signed with the Chargers.
Yep.
I honestly have no idea what his role will look like in that room, especially after they drafted Trey Harris, drafted Lab, drafted QJ, drafted three receivers pretty highly in the last 3 years. But he's the best Chargers receiver, probably not of all time, but of the last like 20 years.
Oh yeah.
I
Unless you're
And
feel
he's
like
talking
it's a,
Antonio Gates, but
I feel like it's a perfect setup just because since he's joining so late, this close to the season starting, it'll be what he's used to. Just the bread and butter, just curl routes, slant routes, get down, avoid big hits. It's what we know from Keenan Allen, 10 receptions for 80 yards or something like that. PPR merchant.
mm-hmm.
he didn't have an outstanding year last year, but he had 700 yards and I think about 7 touchdowns. Like, could be a flex worthy guy in your fantasy league, I think.
Sure. Right on.
Who's
All
going to be the
right.
biggest
Um,
last closing question on my end? I guess hot fire roundtable. Who's going to be the biggest bust in fantasy this year?
Chase Brown.
Jeez.
I'm going Chase Brown.
Well, I think I'm going to go Mahomes.
I couldn't disagree more with you. I think that
I'm
after
kidding,
that,
dude. I was just kidding. I wanted to get a reaction from you.
I
Maybe
would say that
honestly,
I would
maybe
say that mine's
Pacheco.
probably Bucky Irving.
God, this is a little turf war going on.
No, I don't know. I haven't thought about that one yet.
Maybe we'll have to dig more into it next week on the next pod.
That's a good topic for next week, though, Fred. I
I
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
We'll write that in. We'll pencil it in.
We'll sit on it.
We'll dig in. Table
Sit
it for
on it.
next week.
I
Stay
sprinkled a
tuned.
little appetizer with Chase Brown there, a little bit of a hot take.
The first thought that came to mind, I'll think about it, was Puka.
Mm. Okay. Right on. Well, that's a little bit of a preview into next week. But that being said, great pod, guys. I think we hit on a lot of great topics. I think we talked about everything we wanted to talk about. And just a quick note again, bet on the Cardinals if you want to win some money or lose some money. Probably lose some money. For that being said, this is Half Dozen Takes, episode 2. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Peace.